Thank
I appreciate
you
it.
for saying
You coming in today. Tell me why you're here. What brings you in today? Why'd you call me?
Well, I called you and I asked to see you because I'm making changes in my life. I recently started school again to get a degree in psychology, and I'm very happy I'm doing it, but I'm just wondering if I'm taking too much time away from my family and my children. And so when I do all my assignments and when I go to school, I'm thinking in the back of my head, am I taking away from what I should give them?
Okay. And so tell me a little bit about your family. You're married?
I'm married. My husband and I have been married for 15 years, and we have 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, 13-year-old, 11-year-old, and a 7-year-old.
Okay, and are you from this area originally?
Originally, I'm from Chicago. My husband's from Minneapolis. We met in Chicago. He was working in Chicago, and then we moved to the D.C. area for about 7 years. Had our first child. Then we moved to South Florida. We've been here about 10 years, and then we had our second son, and then our daughter.
And have you been predominantly a stay-at-home mom, or have you been working?
When I met my husband, I was working. I have a master's degree in elementary education, and I was teaching for about 8 years. And met my husband, got married, continued to teach, but when I became pregnant, I was due in August, so I finished up that year in June and did not go back after I had my first son.
Do you miss it?
I don't miss teaching. I miss having a job, needing to be somewhere and doing work. I do a lot of volunteer work, but it's very sporadic.
So why now? Why go back to school now? What is working that makes you think this is the right time?
I think because it's always been in my mind to be in counseling. When my undergraduate studies, I started off in psychology, and then I switched to communications. And I think the reason being is I thought, I was very young. I was having fun. I wanted to party. And I thought, if I want to be a psychologist, I got to go to 2 years after this for my master's, and then another 4 years. It's like I just couldn't wrap my brain around it. So I figured I'd switch degrees. So I got my degree in communications, and then I graduated and I went into sales, and then became a flight attendant, and then went back to school to get my master's degree in elementary education and became a teacher. And it's always been calling me back, even with my educational experience with the children that I was teaching. They're coming to me with issues and problems, so it was all the psychology. But I did not want to leave my kids, and they're getting older, they're in school full-time, and they have after-school functions, so I thought to myself, well, they really won't miss me that much if I do this now.
And is your husband supportive?
He is.
He is. What does he do?
My husband right now is building charter schools throughout the state of Florida. He used to be in commercial real estate, and then when the economy got hit pretty hard, the company still exists, but our office in Boca went under. They closed it, so then he started doing his own ventures. So right now he's on his 3rd charter school.
Tell me a little bit about your mother and father. Do you have brothers and sisters? What was that environment like growing up?
My parents were divorced when I was about 9 years old. My mother is no longer living, unfortunately. She had pancreatic cancer, and she died at the age of 64. Very good mother, very good person, did the best she could, given the circumstances with my parents being divorced. My father wasn't very supportive, never very close to us. He's still in my life, talk to him occasionally, see him occasionally, but there's no closeness with him. I have 2 older sisters, an older brother, and a younger brother. And we're all very, very close.
Do you live near each other, or?
No, all my family's still up in Chicago. My two older sisters are there. Actually, my older brother lives in New Smyrna Beach, just by Orlando.
Okay.
And my youngest brother is in Chicago.
How does your family feel about this new career that mom wants to go into?
My family, meaning my siblings or my kids, are so excited about it, especially my eldest, who's 13, because I don't know how to use a computer. I don't know e-college, and I think he really likes to help me as much as you're like, again, I really think he likes it because I don't know what I'm doing, and he knows this is what you do, Mom. This is what I have to do. This is what I have to do with my assignments. Go to your Dropbox, do this, and just do it in the. So, and he has been helping me through the process, and the kids are really excited about it. My family, my siblings they're doing their own thing. They're like, okay, that's great.
And your husband?
My husband's like, okay, that's great. My husband pretty much lets me do whatever I want to do.
So where do you think the trepidation comes from?
I feel like Monday and Wednesday nights, I get home at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. They're already in bed. If I have a meeting for something else, I'll get home at 8:30. They're just going to bed. I can see them. I can put them to bed. I can read to them. Monday and Wednesday nights, it's a wash. They're sound asleep.
So how do you plan on navigating that for yourself? Is there extra time on the weekends that you guys are planning, or a nice vacation as a family to spend some time together? A new tradition of eating together every Sunday night. I apologize.
We go on a family trip during their spring break every year in March. We go skiing for a week. Every Thanksgiving we go for a week to Sanibel Island, and every summer we go on a 2-week trip. So we have that. I think it's just as a mother, you always feel guilty if you're taking time away from them. So we do have that, and I see them all the time. And Saturdays and Sundays, family day. Saturdays, we all do our tennis together, and then we sort of disperse at the end because, my husband and I go on Saturday night. Sundays, we spend the whole day together. So we have that.
That's nice. It's important. How do you plan on then personally reconciling that for yourself?
Well, I think...
Do you have a plan?
The first step I took was calling you and asking to see you because I thought if I could talk about it, then maybe I can relieve my anxiety. Because maybe not as bad as I think it is, but it's always in the back of my mind.
Do you have a support system? Are you someone that holds things in?
I am. I don't talk to anybody about anything.
Can you think of other periods in your life where that's played a role for you?
Yes, pretty much every single thing that, as you go through your life, everybody has issues. I'm always keeping it to myself. I never feel comfortable talking to anybody else.
Do you have important relationships in your life other than your husband and your children? Or is your world centered?
Oh, I do have important relationships. I have a very, very good friend, my best friend. She lives in Dallas. She and I grew up in Chicago together, and since I moved here, and she lives in Dallas. Actually, I do tell her everything. She knows every single thing about my every move in my entire life. But I don't go out with friends here and tell them everything that's going on with me because I don't think that it's any of their business, and I don't want to tell them.
So there's one important relation. That's the one that sticks out in your head.
Absolutely. And then I'm very close with my sisters.
Do you guys get together a lot still?
We get together a lot. We see each other. They come here on Easter with all their kids, and then I spend a month in Chicago with my family, and we see each other during that month. And then Christmas, I go to my sister's house. So yeah, we see each other a lot.
That's nice. It's nice to have that support. It's important. It's also important to have people close to you here. It's important to build those relationships. So what would you like to work on? How can I help you?
Well, I think I just want to relieve myself of the guilt being gone every Monday and Wednesday night, not being here with my kids. Because even the other nights are kind of tough, because Tuesday night my son has acting class in Plantation. So if I take him, the other kids are here with the babysitter, or if my husband takes him, I'm here with my kids, but I'm not with him. Thursday nights we're always together. I take my kids out to dinner every Thursday night, whether my husband's in town or not. That's our night together. But then the weekends get a little busy because we're doing like adult stuff. So it's hard to not be able to be with the kids as much as I'd like to.
It is. It's a tough thing to reconcile with inside. I know you mentioned over the phone when you were calling to make the appointment how important religion is in your life. Where do you think that plays a role in your life? And how can that play a role in your life in helping you reconcile the guilt? Or is it adding to it? Or is it...
That's a really good question. It might be adding to it just because, when I go to church and listen to the priest and listen to the homily, and it's all about family, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm not there on Monday nights, I'm not there on Wednesday nights. But the other side of it is on Sundays, that's our day. So the kids go to CCD, which is the Sunday